Hello, everyone. As you can see, we're missing our host. Kind of like Arsenal, we're kind of missing something every time we get out there on the field. Yeah, I mean, I keep saying Arsenal keeps surprising us, and I guess the host surprised us today. Look, he's gone. He's just not here, and that's kind of what Arsenal looked like yesterday. They just weren't there. They were on the field. I saw people in red shirts, but I didn't see
A lot
Arsenal.
of
Did
shouting
you?
and stuff.
No,
Now we just
no.
need
They
to have
surprised
Ray
us.
shout.
They surprised us again. Yeah, they keep surprising us and showing us new ways to do things the wrong way,
New ways to
you
get
know,
to
not the
town
Arsenal
every
way.
single time. Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
As you do see, our host is I think currently busy with something, but Gary's here.
It's something more important than
Tony's
talking
here.
about.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Ray just
And-
doesn't want to face for reality.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh man. Yeah.
I'm
Here
sorry,
you go.
guys.
Look at this.
I'm late.
Oh,
I'm sorry. This is
It's our club captain.
your captain, your talisman of the channel, and I really, I,
What the fuck did we?
He got stuck in traffic after getting his hair done. I mean, this is what happens.
I got stuck in traffic. I'm really sorry. Listen, you expect more from me. I expect more from myself. I expect to be dropped from the next podcast that we do. Yesterday, I just felt lost yesterday, Gary. I didn't know where I was on the field, what I was doing, and it was just completely, the life was just squeezed out of us yesterday. So I do apologize for being late. Yeah. But yeah, this is how I roll these days, Gary, Tony, and Nahir.
This is what it is.
I'm getting paid
It
quite
is
well
what it
to do
is.
what I do.
Yes.
It is what it is, right?
It is what it is, man. Oh, geez, you. I know you've been carrying us for 2 seasons, but come on, my guy.
Yeah. I know, yeah. The past is we need you to do better now. We need more from you. We're paying you double. We're paying you more money. We expect
Ray,
more out of you.
Right with the Easter Bunny.
Can I at least wish everyone a happy Easter? Because that's I'm just feeling in a very easygoing manner, just like our captain.
Like you play on the field.
Get on the field and you get what you get, right? It is what it is, Gary. But Gary, thanks for opening up the show. As you can see, everyone, I was slightly late. Not as late probably as Aubameyang, as Russ has said here. Ray, at least you weren't as late as Aubameyang.
I seen you drive, Ray. You drive past in your rally cars.
I've got a few cars in my garage here, So.
Yeah.
But
you
listen,
didn't pick the fastest one. Yeah.
You got to step off road.
Did I go to Aubameyang's barber? You'll never know.
He's Aubameyang. Our captain. Sorry, Captain. I just want to say one thing to you. Show it on the field, please, because you're starting to piss us all off. Like there's some serious money. I know we don't care about money. Money's on the line, but when it's big wages and you don't show what you are on the pitch, which is supposed to be a fucking leader, a leader amongst everything else, and our captain's arm badge is on you. That means the world to everybody else, all of our supporters around the world. And you put in since the contract. I don't know why you've put in such performances. I don't know. It's like you've just gone off a cliff. Like I don't know. Maybe you're in touch with Ozil, but look, I'm at a loss for words. Seriously.
Therapy session. Let it all out, everyone. I mean, this was one of our worst. Probably, Gary. What do you think? One of our worst performances, if not the worst performance. We have to take.
Yeah, and I like to say
the opposition as well, right?
Yeah, I like to say to the captain as well. You know what? Just hand over the badge. Just hand over the armband.
Come on,
you
man.
You don't deserve it. I mean, you should know better. You should know better. You should hand it over. I don't think anybody right now deserves it. And if they do, they're injured. I mean, everybody says Kieran Tierney, but that as a team, none of us looked really good yesterday. So it doesn't really matter who you give it to. You're gonna be kind of struggling to find the leadership we need. Aubameyang, you should just hand it over and give it to Arteta and just tell him, you know what, I don't deserve this, because you don't. You're not working hard for it. I mean, you may get paid for it, but you're not working hard for it. So you should hand it over. Hand it over. You know, hand it over. Just and you should be lucky that you get on the field. I mean, if Arteta was a seasoned manager, there's no way you'd be playing.
No ways. No chance. No chance.
Yeah. Can I just say, my new hairstyle is affecting my performance. So, I'm going to leave the three of you to carry me through this show today. Want to give a shout out to Russ.
Yeah.
Dave's LFC chats. Liverpool really turned up yesterday. Turned the screw on us. The Assembled is here. Good day, chaps. Let's see. Ray is in hiding. No, I was actually late to a meeting. Late to our podcast here. The Assembled.
Yeah. We're supposed to start. I was supposed to start at 1. You don't show up until 10 after with a new hairstyle, talking about traffic on probably on the therapy day.
Snoop Doggy Ray.
Yeah, I was gonna say no.
I think I see a lot of smoke coming out that door behind you. So I don't know what's going on over there. That's probably why you didn't play so well. You probably just were a little bit, just a little bit slow out there. That's what it looked like to me.
It used to be my escape door, but we blocked it off. And now Aubameyang can't get away from those team meetings. GK, happy Easter, GK.
Happy Easter, everyone in the chats, everybody out there in the Twitterverse, YouTubeverse. This is our. Oh, look at that! It's 2-1 Villa. Is that good for us?
Yeah. No. I left it at 1-0, and when I was on my drive in here to do the podcast, got caught in traffic, as you know. Ray is trying to escape reality.
Yeah.
When you have a result like that, Tony, you got to do something, right? And I just felt like I didn't put my performance in yesterday on the pregame. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't train well, and this is the performance you're going to get today, Tony.
Something's wrong. You're not even smiling, so I don't even know what's going on there. It's barely any smiling coming out of our captain. Yeah,
Tony.
Yeah, I want to see the car. I mean,
shows your Lamborghini out in the yard. Tony, jump in there. What was your thoughts about yesterday? Let's go all around. I think we had a little bit of a mini rant there from Mahir as I was getting settled into the team meeting here as captain.
To me,
as talisman. I'm the guy who's supposed to be steering this ship. Go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
The first half was a complete snooze fest. Neither team seemed like they wanted to be bothered with winning or losing. They were just going through the motions. And we come out in the second half. I guess we came out. We left the dressing room. We didn't come out to play football at all. Other than that, we got our ass kicked for the next 45 minutes. And our worst game of the season, I would say.
Yeah, the Assembled. This is Aubameyang's new hairstyle. It was supposed to bring life to him. I'm trying the same thing, but I think I'm getting the same results, Gary, as Aubameyang in the last 3 days.
You are. I mean, you didn't even get a shot off, I don't think. So you barely got any touches of the ball. I mean, were you even on the field? I don't even remember where you. I mean, yeah.
Well, I'm here. I'm here, Gary. I may not be able to put too much into the team's performance, but I'm here. I'm on the field. I always get selected. You always see me in this the top left-hand corner, right?
Yeah, I think somebody needs to change that. For some reason, you got the keys to the car, and that's why you can control what we see and what we don't see. So, yeah. Somebody really likes you because they keep putting you out there. This game, Aston Villa said, you know what, Arsenal, I'm not even going to make it nice. I'm not even going to make it close. I just got to pop up on my screen. So, if we were hoping for Aston Villa to kind of lay an egg, lay an egg, get it?
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing that today.
Bring them on.
As you said, as the name of the show, right? It's all the eggs in Europa basket. Well, that basket's got a hole right now. It's got a couple of holes, and a couple of cracked eggs as well. I mean,
yeah.
we are going into that thing with not a whole dozen and a leaky with a big hole and
Got attacked by a chicken hawk.
Yeah, and there's birds flying around us, looking around. They're hungry.
Vultures.
They're swooping around. It's chicken hawks. You got vultures. So swimming. It's going around. I mean, you got it all. Got it all. It's gonna be tough. Oh, that hairstyle. Oh my God, that.
As you can see, I at least have a sense of humor, and I believe the other three of you have a sense of humor as well, right? If you're watching Arsenal yesterday against Liverpool,
I'm a man of many hats.
You're a man of many hats as well. I'm a man of many hairstyles, so we'll see what happens, Troy.
I need to cut the fucking thing by now.
My hair, what are you a man of many things?
Ray needs a buzz cut.
My hair, what are you a man of?
Many green screens.
Many different forms of anger and pain.
Yes, indeed. PG Nez, does Arteta's project involve a down payment on a villa in Spain? Possibly.
Yeah.
Gary, you're a man of many what?
I guess, like you said, many painful memories.
Podcast.
Oh my God, Tony, let him speak.
I know you keep interrupting me. I can't say a word with you on this pod. It's always interrupting us. Always got. I don't. I'm a man of many terrible teams. All my teams are terrible.
Right. Yeah.
All of them.
Not one of them is teams.
Yeah. I mean, the Gators lost to a team called Oral Roberts, right? And I guess they are out of Oklahoma, which makes it even worse because of that guy down in the corner directly across from me.
Well, he didn't lose to his brother's college, Oral Roberts.
Yeah. The Cowboys were terrible last season. I mean, Arsenal is, this is the new Arsenal. So
but
it's
Gary,
been a bad year.
Just think about when all of those projects and all those franchises come around, they're all going to win together, right?
Well, you know what the nice thing is, I have seen the other teams win something since I've been able to get back into Arsenal. I've seen us basically drop and drop and drop and drop and drop. And maybe it's me. Maybe I shouldn't have started watching the team regularly back in 2012 or whenever it was I started. It's been a gradual dip in form every year. Got to see the end of Wenger and Unai Emery, and now we got Arteta, and we don't even know if that's going to work. I mean, it's I'm sorry everyone, but this was my team when I was little. I did have a little gap, and the gap that I missed was probably one of the best gaps. The worst times to miss out on your team.
Russ, I don't think Gary has any teams that are playing any good right now, Russ. Right, Gary?
Yeah, no teams. No, they all have something about them that's gonna give me pain.
The Assemble says my hairstyle right now will not distract from the performance made by that lineup yesterday, right? So we're going to get into it, and we have to take on board what Cheddar's saying. People forget how good Liverpool are, and they've kind of rediscovered themselves. We'll get in. This is an Arsenal podcast, but we'll talk about. Klopp said this is they're starting a mini season, so I think Arteta needs to bring something to the table like that. I know we'll probably dive into the press conference and all the things Arteta said. Basically, they're going to do the talking on the field, but I think there's going to be some talking in the training ground or within the confines of the four walls within Colney, and because some home truths need to be brought about. No point in Sam. Yeah, no point in continuing the Arteta debate. But I think if I had this hairstyle, I might get him off his game a little bit. There's nothing left to debate. Doesn't matter who's playing or not. This manager can't get the best out of him. Job needs to be given to a professional. And I'm sure we'll get into all of that. Liverpool have lost to Fulham, Burnley, and Brighton. We made Liverpool look like they did last season.
We've made Liverpool and City look like really good teams. And I mean, they are good teams, but we made them look really good in a season where you can actually get something out of a game when you play them. This isn't a season where, this is one of those opportunities once again, right, where we fail to take advantage. This is a season where we're not the only ones that are going through COVID. We're not the only ones that have missed out on a summer, the summer season where we actually got to come in with a good preseason. We're not the only ones. Everybody's going through it. So so there's no reason why we can't get something. I mean, that's it. We played both Liverpool and City twice, and we've looked terrible in all 4 of them. Can't say that about any other game, any other team. I guess maybe Burnley and Villa, right? But we've played. Those are the two top teams in the league going over the last five years, right? So we are
light years behind.
Yuck.
Look, we have plenty. We have plenty of time to get into it. Let's welcome Alonso in here. Alonso, rate my hairstyle.
What's that?
Rate my hairstyle.
It's a 5 with a little bit of creativity involved, and it's funny, right?
If you're rating out of 5, I'll take that. If it's out of 10, I'm disappointed. I expect better for myself.
I'll give you 1 out of 10, like Aubameyang's performance yesterday.
Yeah,
1 out of 10.
That definitely, if you're not Travis Scott, I mean, at least he looks like Travis Scott. He doesn't play, and he probably plays like Travis Scott. To tell you the truth, if that's so.
Yeah, just recently found out who that is, right? Gunnar Glenn, thanks for joining us. Aubameyang making a guest appearance, and I was late to the meeting, Gunnar Glenn. If you had seen the intro, Gary had to start the team meeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're sitting there waiting for our captain to show up to tell us kind of how things are going to go. Because usually, right, the captain comes in early, he talks with the manager, they give him a little plan of how the game's going to go, and the leader kind of brings it home to you, right?
So
Not
Gary,
today.
So Gary, if Aubameyang doesn't make the meeting, who starts the meetings? Which player? Which player are you?
It's got to be Tierney, but even him, he needs a little bit of help. I mean, like I said, there's nobody right now who stands out enough to make it worthy of an armband. And I don't know, Lacazette can't do it because he can't show it on the field. I mean, you can't do it because you can't figure out how to get to a game on time. You've been playing football for how many years? You can't be late, and you're late.
I mean, I'm 31. I'm 31 now, so my enthusiasm may be waning. You know what I mean? Sam said, "Cheddars, your defense is terrible lately, and your team is only playing well now and then. It was a great chance for us that we blew yet again. Jota had a big contribution coming on. I was on with Dave on Friday. I was saying we do not want to see Jota in the team lineup. I was happy he wasn't starting, but it didn't take him long to make an impact when he came on the pitch."
I just want to say, Liverpool did not get out of second gear. It looked so easy. It looked like I was watching my nephew play grade 5 soccer. It looked like that though. Like I was just like, oh my god, this team, Liverpool, just taking the ball and they're just basically walking the pitch, nice and easy, side to side, and then one ball through the middle, and suddenly 1 or 2 passes, and they're in our box, ready to take the shot on. And had it not been for some critical decision making in the forward line, I'm sure it would have been about 3-0 or 2-0, probably within the opening 30 minutes, or I don't know if you want to say second half, first 10 minutes, maybe 2-0, 3-0, I don't know.
We'll have plenty of time. I will say this is how I usually digest a game. I take notes of a game, but I can tell you I usually go through at least 2 pages. I've got less than 1 full page here because.
Did you fall asleep during the first half?
I didn't fall asleep. Aubameyang may have fallen asleep, but Arsenal didn't give us a lot to get excited about.
I think he was sleepwalking.
Sam, the best contribution Arsenal made yesterday was getting off the pitch at the end of the game. And I think we're probably going to have to look back at this in a few weeks and say, listen, this was a result that Liverpool's started to play well again. I know they've lost.
Oh, come on. No,
No,
Ray.
Ray.
This is where Ray, sorry, Aubameyang. This is that I think your hair is, has been braided a little too tight. You get a little pressure on your brain. You start not make any sense. You're not making any sense right now.
Kabak
This is
and
not.
Phillips
This
have
is
not
not. This is
conceded
not only
together.
Liverpool. This is not only Liverpool looking good. It is Arsenal looking bad.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I
mean,
will take that
Liverpool
on
is a
board.
good. Liverpool is a
Sure.
good team, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch the first 30 minutes of the game, I think they were just testing us out to see where we stood, or what kind of team were they going to be playing against. They were filling us out, and we were basically doing absolutely nothing to, threaten them at all. That first 30 minutes, we did not threaten them at all. They started when they decided they wanted to move the ball forward. They were able to do it every time.
Yeah,
Every
as
time.
Russ-
I mean, if Milner if Milner could have put a shot on target, they probably would have scored twice. He had two good looks, right? And then they had the other shot come on. I just watched the first 30 minutes. There's three shots where if they could have put it on frame, it would have been probably would be down 3-0 in the first 30 minutes.
Definitely, we should have been punished by Milner with that shot. That one great chance that he had.
Yeah.
You said he had another chance. I mean, wasn't as clear cut as that what I'm talking about?
It was a long one from across. Maybe it wasn't him, but there was a couple of shots from distance. One was his.
Yeah, that was from
and the
Firmino.
other. Yeah, another one was from distance that kind of crossed the goal, and then you had the one. There was two from the right side and one from the left that I think that they could have scored on, if they were thinking that they needed it. I mean, if you listen to the commentary, it was like, what, Klopp's coming in here, he's going to just get these guys to run around for a little bit. A lot of them been out on international break or whatnot. It's just going to feel it out and maybe hopefully get something out of the game, but there's nothing. He's not expecting much, and we played pretty bad.
Tony, as Russ said there, this is not lost to me either. We've conceded 3 goals in the last 2 league games, and that is very, very concerning now. If we're putting all of our eggs in the Europa League basket on Thursday night.
Yeah, let me try to find that fact that I found yesterday on the 3 goals.
You found a good fact.
A good fact.
A good fact that you found something positive out of this.
Yeah.
The fact is,
how far did you have to dig? How far did you have to dig for that?
Yeah, you can see it down there. The fact is, we did not score, and they scored 3 of those goals. So, the fact is, you score more than the other team, you kind of win. That's how you win games, Gary. Right?
Yeah,
Here we go.
We only took 3 shots. I mean,
here we go. Arsenal lose by 3 goals at home for the 8th time in the Premier League and 2nd time this season. Also versus Aston Villa. Had 36% possession, 5th time under 40% in home, and under Arteta had under 40% in 2 of his 152 games and Wenger's final 8 seasons. We've only let more than 3-0 2 times.
2 times in Wenger's final 8 seasons. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Right. And historically in the Premier League, which has been going since 1992, we've conceded 3 goals in 8 games, right?
Yep.
And it's happened twice this season as well. Yeah.
Man ain't good enough, Ray.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. So, Alonso, let's looking back at the last 9 games. It doesn't read very well for us. We have a loss, draw, win, loss, win, loss. So 3 wins in 9 games, 2 draws, and 4 losses. 3 wins were against Leeds United in the league, the 4-2 game, which was wide open. Aubameyang played well in that game. The Leicester City one. Leicester City had a lot of injuries. We beat them 3-1 away from home. And the Tottenham game, where we pretty much had a full team, Alonso, to pick from. So,
yeah, and it's quite, as an Arsenal fan, you would think that we would pick up on that because we've been playing. It seems like the top teams very well. Not great, but well enough to win games. And you think that we would do better against teams like the lower side teams like the Wolves and Brightons and what have you. And we had the talent to do so, but for some reason our mind is not in the game to where we undermatch our opponents are lesser weaker than us, and it's just been a kind of disappointing from our team and our coach.
Yeah, Mahir, 3 wins, Leeds, Leicester, Tottenham, 2 draws, Burnley and West Ham, ones that we probably should have. The Burnley one, we certainly should have won that game. West Ham is infuriating. You could have won the game, you could have lost the game. We end up drawing in the end. And 4 losses: Wolves, Villa, City, and Liverpool.
All I have to say is bottled. You know why bottled up? Because they don't have it within them. Not only man management, but the players don't seem to just have any sort of pride. Like I like giving general examples, as you guys will know, with all the other podcasts. I've even gone into work related examples. But like when you're at work and you put in a performance like that, like what we saw, that's so easily you are replaced. You're replaced immediately. You'll come into work one day and realize, wait a minute. They're like, what are you doing here? Like, no, we replaced you. We replaced you after two, three times that we've seen all of this. We just decided, listen here, you're no longer welcome here. So
Mahir, Mahir, do you not think that like Arteta is taking notes and he's noting what's happening this season and he's going to act on it in the summertime?
No, I don't trust any process. Trust the process. I have 3 words to say. The legend said this. It's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. I told you guys, I don't rate Arteta. I haven't since we signed him. Because when you bring in an amateur or somebody that has not experienced any sort of pressure, like real pressure as like a proper coach. He hasn't been to any clubs. He's not like not a Lampard. Who was the other one? He's not like a Lampard that's been to, I think, was it Lampard that was at Derby County or something?
Yeah, he was at Derby before.
Yeah.
He hasn't had any sort of experience. So how would he know to handle high pressure situations such as bringing on, for example, a Martinelli instead of having an Aubameyang on the field, knowing that you shouldn't be playing Gary and Tony, like we've discussed. You can't play over, and we clearly see you can't play over on the left-hand side and Lacazette as a winger together. If you want to try something, maybe try and play them as a striking duo up front. But even that we've tried and failed. So I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, guys. I'm honestly at a loss for words. If you wanted to show us some sort of passion, because if we play like this on Thursday night, it's game over, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
No coins. We have no extra quarters to put in that machine, and we're completely broke.
Yeah.
No,
just think about it.
Just
think about it. We've got all the answers we needed, right, in this game.
If we lose by
Right?
2 or 3,
we got a lot of answers today. We got a lot of answers yesterday. Aubameyang, you never play on the left. Never on the left. Pepe, the only reason why you're playing is because we've got too many injuries, or else, he needs to play with some better players around him. Holding, your buddy Ray, Holding. No. If he's playing with Marie, maybe, but I'd rather see Marie and Gabriel play with a deficit, if that's what they call it, because they're both left-footed. I have a feeling they are much better suited to play together than Holding, regardless if they only had one leg, right, Tony?
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So Holding is a no for me. It's not working.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Gary. I've always said about Holding, he's a good squad player eventually when we do fill that right centre back position. He could play 8 to 10 games. We still run the gambit of possibly. Otherwise, you got to get 2 right center backs because David Luiz. I don't know how we feel about David Luiz, but he is.
Well, like I said, we got a lot of answers yesterday. We realized that if we're missing a Milsworth Rowe, Saka, Xhaka, and Luiz, we're in trouble. Those are 4 players that those are 4 players that are starting 11. As much as we don't like Xhaka, I mean, I don't like him, but nobody's coming in and dethroning him. Nobody comes in and says, I can do better. No, none of them. El Neni comes in. We know what we're going to get, but that might help us calm things down, but it's not going to help us going forward. And in a game like yesterday's where we can't get the ball forward, we're going to be under pressure the whole game, and we can't handle that.
One midfielder that can get the ball forwards playing for Hertha Berlin right now.
Hey,
you know what? Yeah, you know what? But mentally, guess you saw what happened to Gabriel at the end of this game. That's what's going to happen to Guendouzi if he played for this team right now. At some point, you just basically melt down. Gabriel is playing with inferior teammates around him. Eventually, it just wore down, and that's what you saw at the end of that game. Guendouzi, he would be under so much pressure the whole game. Eventually, he's going to blow up, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't. And when we don't have the leadership around him to get his head right, to get him focused, right? Usually, he was playing with Xhaka, and that was not going to work because Xhaka's not going to control the situation, right? Partey isn't that big of a vocal guy. I mean, if you saw Partey and Odegaard working yesterday, you realize, they're fine, but they're just 2 guys in the middle of a pitch with nobody around them.
They were overpowered yesterday with Milner in there, who was going to bring the work rate. Fabinho, Fabinho obliterated Odegaard. Couldn't get on the.
You keep saying that, but you can't say that. Come on. He's got
Odegaard. Odegaard might have been our best player, Gary, but that's not really saying he had an impact on the game.
No. But what I'm saying is, you're trying to say that he got punished yesterday, and I'm saying no. You put a lot of crap around good players. Guess what? They're gonna smell. I mean, that's what happened yesterday. There was a lot of crap around those and I mean every one of them. Like Gabriel and Odegaard, to me, were like 2 of the better players yesterday. Surrounded by just crap. Surrounded by it. They just smell.
Let's take. Am I going to go through each player? I think it's going to be a good podcast to go through each player today in the team, Gary. But I do agree with you. Gabriel really missed Tierney. Tierney provides that help to Gabriel and lessens the stress on Gabriel. We saw the stress getting to Gabriel as well. And the same thing happened in midfield. We have Thiago, Fabinho, and Milner. Three players who really worked our midfield. I agree with you. We didn't have enough in midfield, and Odegaard. It was a tough ask for Partey and Odegaard to carry us through because Ceballos, he just went running around like a fly.
He's chasing shit.
Chasing shit. Exactly, Tony. That's unfortunately.
I didn't even get to talk about Ceballos. Like I said, that first 30 minutes. I mean, he needs to go back to Spain now. There's no reason to keep him.
Yeah,
there's no reason to keep him. I mean, it's not. I mean,
9 players we played with, and out of those 9 players, only 2. Like already know who I'm excluding from the 11 to make it 9, and out of the. Hey, not the word, not the words, but
back. You know what? Do you remember, remember a couple games ago, or I should say, maybe even a month ago, we were. I remember sitting there going, "All right, so we've got 9 good players, and we've got Xhaka and Luiz. Wow, if we could replace them and see, those 2 are. You know what? You're nodding your head, Tony, but." They're not leaders like leadership leaders, but they are basically somebody that you can, they give 110% of what they got. It's not perfect for an Arsenal team going to the Champions League.
Who has the most errors and most red cards and most?
It doesn't matter. But did you see what you saw yesterday? You telling me we're not as much as I don't like, I'd rather see improvements from those two players. You can't tell me that you don't miss them based on the way that game went
I don't miss
yesterday.
Luis.
And that's
Ari
shocking.
can be in there.
Gary,
You did miss Louise. If you're not, unless you're happy with the game you saw yesterday, you miss Louise, you miss Yaka. I'm sorry.
We can have Ari in there.
Unfortunately, that's what we have to deal with.
hey, Gary,
Because that's what,
Gary,
that's what I realized. Unfortunately, guys, with the players that we hate the most, even, you miss them. You miss them because that's what you have to deal with. You have to deal with what you have at the moment. As much as you can say, bring in, Sal Jaka, bring in Sal Jaka, bring in Basuma, bring in Buendia, bring in these type of midfielders. You have to deal with what you have on the table right now and the circumstances you've been put under. Like we go to Thursday night. Am I confident that we're going to beat Slavia Prague? If we play like that, guys, no quarters for all of us. I'm not handing you no quarters because I don't have any myself. I'm completely broke.
No quarters left.
3-0,
Yeah.
does he get sacked?
Okay. Listen.
Right?
Hopefully the.
No, I was just gonna say. I thought Alonso had something to say real quick. So
Yeah, let me just say real quickly, people in the chats, just be respectful to each other. That's all I ask. In this week, we've lost somebody in the Arsenal world, and let's all be friends at the end of this. I don't know what's going on because I get behind in the chats as well. Go ahead, Alonso, and I'll start going through the chats here.
Yeah. So what Gary was saying, like, I kind of agree that they're not leaders on the pitch per se, or they're not captains, but I think Luis and Xhaka are our most vocal players, to where our captain is not our most vocal players. He just doesn't talk much. So I heard Gary, we missed him a lot yesterday.
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's not, and it's not that. Like I said, they are the the players that we missed. I mean, we missed Milsrif Rowe and Saka. We definitely missed those two.
Right.
But we saw what happens when we don't have at least some sort of solidity in the middle of the pitch, right? That's where Xhaka, with Partey, that works. It kind of works. It's not the best, but it works. And Louise and Gabriel works in the middle, right? We didn't have that, and we saw what happened. I'm not saying that we're going to be winning the league and stuff with them, but our margins are really small, and the best we've got are those two players that were out yesterday in the mid and backfield. I mean, you can nod your head, but it's true. It is.
Shake my head, not nod.
If you're happy with the game, yesterday, then you're happy to see those players missing from the lineup.
You don't think Mari's better than the Luis?
It hasn't worked so far, and it hasn't been used, so I don't know. I'm happy with Martinelli playing, but he's not playing either, and so I have to live with what we got. Yeah.
I would say ability-wise, Mari and Luis are quite similar. I would be quite happy either one of those two. Yeah. One is more experienced. One has some things to learn as well. Maximum points are can finish this season is 66, and that was our benchmark for this season. We wanted to attain 66 points. That's we can't drop any more points now. We're 8 games away toward the end of the season here. Russ said, I said ages ago that it could be the worst Liverpool side for years coming to the Emirates, and we still wouldn't win. Sorry, Russ, I'll highlight that up there. Yeah, so listen, we'll get into the what actually happened on the field then. Connor, I am one of the more optimistic on this panel here, but even you can't just ignore what happened yesterday. Even if we're losing, we're without 4 of our first team players. And believe it or not, Tony Granit Xhaka, he makes it into our midfield. We don't want it to be that way next season, Tony. We want Partey to have a partner. David Luiz, it's debatable whether he should be on the side over Pablo Mari, but Arteta seems to be married to a left footer and a right footer as central defenders. I do hope moving forward, if David Luiz is going to be out, that Pablo Mari and Gabriel will be the partnership, even if it is without if two left footers.
Saliba's, I guess.
Yeah. Saliba's in France.
But how about Mavropanos?
He's getting sold too.
Mavropanos.
Yeah,
these are players. He's on loan, so we're not going to use him this season. We're going to talk about this season really. How much of Arsenal's season is inexperience, and much he hasn't got a clue. There is something to say there. We've dropped some points due to Arteta's inexperience.
5
What?
5 to 95.
5 to 95.
5% inexperience, 95%.
Okay.
Doesn't have a clue.
Great point, Matt. Here, these players are on holiday at Arsenal, no pressure to perform. And this, I think Arteta has probably seen something yesterday that will light a fire under him, and he's not going to throw the players under the bus till the end of the season. But he's going to try and get what he can out of them for the season. Kind of, you think 2 more years of this will magically make Arteta better at game management and man management. Sam, so as you know, Sam, some of that has to do with the players, and we have to upgrade the players as well.
We have better players in our head under Winger.
You know what, you guys? I mean, we are always looking at Arteta, right? But then it's like you said, it's players, but then it's got to be people above him as well, right? He's got to have a better person managing the players coming in to do, maybe a better person running the program in general, right? I mean, it's not. Yeah. It's Arteta is just one of the cogs, the most visual one that we've got, but a lot of other ones that aren't pulling no weight either. So he's out there by himself, which I've been saying pretty much all year. You got Arteta surrounded by just nothing. And he's trying to do his best, and it's not worthy of this team, right? It's not worthy of this team. I mean, you don't take on an Arsenal and then basically bastardize it the way we have, right? I mean, think about this. We let Raul go because he supposedly stole some money from the team, essentially. Took a lot of money from them.
And in the till.
What do you think? What do you think's happening right now? You've got players doing it. You've got managers doing it. You've got the management structure doing it. They're all taking money from the owner and getting away with it. All right, they're getting away with it. They're not doing their due diligence. There's no way. Arteta has to do better. The players have to do better. If not, then they have to go. Right? Aubameyang should be playing a lot better. I mean, all these players should be playing much better.
We've seen it all season. We've seen it all season, Gary. The younger players in this team, the younger players in this squad are carrying the established, experienced players. We're looking to Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, and all of Odegaard, even who's on loan. Young players like Kieran Tierney. If we don't have Kieran Tierney in our lineup, and there's something to be said possibly now about his injury record moving forward, that's probably a discussion for another day. If these players are not in the team, we don't perform as well as we do with them in the team. Connor, I'm waiting for that day as well. I hope some of you are all brave enough to hold your hands up when you were all wrong about Arteta.
But Arteta being the answer requires all of these extra things to happen around him. That's the thing. And you know what? You bring in a more seasoned manager, you don't have to wait for some of those things to happen, right? Everybody. I think everybody agrees that you bring in a more seasoned manager, you may get a better response out of the team because they're going to have somebody who comes in with a better resume. To say that Arteta is getting the most out of this team, I think, is a disservice to the players. I think they are a lot better than they are.
I'll get to you, Tony.
The one, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, sorry, Tony, but I mean, if you got if you know your players like you're supposed to after about 15 months, you put them in situations to succeed, and we didn't do that, right? We didn't do that with our players. They can't. It isn't something you can just plug and play. We don't have the depth to just pull out one player, put another one in, and expect the same results. A better manager would think about. Klopp took out some of his players, because they needed rest, and he got the best out of the ones that he put out there, right? 35-year-old Milner played better than pretty much most of our team. So we can't say it's the age anymore. 35. And it's not somebody who hasn't put a lot of minutes into that body, right? He's been playing for a long time. He's been on the ground who knows how many times. And then look how he looked. So it can't
Miller has been in the game probably 18 years, Gary, and
he looks better than most of our team yesterday, right? He actually got 2 or 3 shots off yesterday. That's what our team did. So you're telling me that age is a problem? No, it doesn't matter how they've got 35-year-olds playing better than us. So exactly. They got like a 6-year-old heart, running with yuck. Just yuck. That's how that game was for me.
And so Stan said, until every single player that was here since Wenger's gone, nothing will change. Those players are the ones that our kids are learning from. That is the danger. And let me just say, we're going all the way from Connor right through to Sam, and we all want the same thing for Arsenal. We all feel slightly different about it. So let's get it out in the open. Let's be friends at the end of the day. Tony, what have you got?
Well, first I'll reply to Stan there. We need culture change. I don't think it matters if we still have a handful of Wenger players. It's all about just the mentality and the culture at the club. That's why Arteta was always the wrong man for the job. Now going back to that, let's go with the last 50 games, Premier League games for Arteta, the last 50 for Emery, and the last 50 for Wenger. Arteta's won 21, drawn 12, lost 17, with a win rate of 42%, loss rate of 34%, goals per game 1.44. Emery, 50 games, 25 wins, 13 draws, 12 losses, win rate of 50%, lose rate of 24%, goals per game 1.82. Wenger, 27 wins, 7 draws, 16 losses, win rate of 54%, lose rate of 32%, and 1.92 goals per game. So, simply, it's not good enough.
Oh, so simply, you're saying we're declining, right, Tony?
Yep.
Right.
Pretty drastically.
I was not blaming Wenger, but any player that is still here from that era should go. And I think the likes of Hector Bellerin is going to go next season. Let's get through a few more comments, and then we'll get into the analysis of what happened yesterday. Midfield won the game for LFC. Dave's correct there. They overran us, and they had the heart. What happened as well, Alonso, is they saw Chelsea stumbling and had an opportunity to make some ground up on them, and that's what they did yesterday, Alonso.
Yeah, and it shows disparity between the two clubs and where Arteta should be at this point of his coaching career, and where Klopp is as a manager for Liverpool. And like Klopp has more experience, but also Arteta, I don't know, like his man management and game management don't work. Simple as that. And you set yourself to fail basically because you're not giving players chances to succeed, and especially our younger players. So it kind of shows you that this experiment, this process is not working out to where we should be able to beat the top teams now, and it's not being proven on the pitch. And we could have, in hindsight, we could have matched up with Liverpool, but quite frankly, Arsenal don't have it in them. This current spot don't have it in them right now. It's kind of sad to see.
Yeah, Anthony, you have to go back and see the intro. I was late to the team meeting. Gary and Tony and Alonso and Matt here had to start the team meeting. I have the responsibility as the captain of the ship. I should be to team meetings on time, and I apologize, but I'm still going to pick up my paycheck every week, right? Right, Gary?
Yeah. And I'm supposed to look up to you, right? I'm supposed to look up to you. I'm doing all the hard work here, and I'm supposed to look up to you. Wait, you know what? Wait, where's Aubameyang? Oh, he just took off in his car. Oh, he's not finishing up with the team today? Nope. No.
Yeah.
No, he comes in late, leave early. I mean, that's what you get. That's the leadership you got at Arsenal, right?
Do we have to admit that David Luiz and Jack are vital to this team, Gary? You kind of said that. We did say that a little earlier.
I said that already. I mean, Tony doesn't agree, but Tony enjoyed the game yesterday, so obviously he's okay with them being missing from the lineup, right? If you were okay with the game yesterday, then you're okay with missing Jacques and Luiz. Guess what? Luiz is out for a while now, maybe even the rest of the season. So enjoy that, right? We've lost the little bit of depth that we had with the center backs, right? Go ahead, Alonso.
We still got Chambers. We still got Mari. We got depth.
Don't even get us started on Chambers. Yesterday on the pre-game show with Stan, we were talking about Chambers. We will get to see what kind of player we have in Chambers. We saw it yesterday, Tony.
He still had a decent game. He had about a 6.
He had about a 6. Okay. Pramod said, I don't know why people feel Xhaka is a big miss. He is one of the most panicked players when pressed, which was the game of Liverpool. But yet, he is probably, debatably, our second best midfielder in the squad, Pramod. So until the summer comes, we have what we have. It is what it is, as I would say. And we are stuck with Granit Xhaka. We have reached that level. Xhaka and Luiz cost us vital points over the season. What's that stand? I don't want Xhaka or Luiz going forward. That's fine, Sam. We have alternatives. We can go buy someone, but they would have improved us yesterday. Ceballos was awful. Holding and Gabriel decided to mentally go on holiday. So Tony, yesterday I basically predicted my lineup, and we all kind of along the same lines. We debated Callum, Chambers, or Cedric. As it turned out, probably could have went with Cedric, but that's not what I'm going to point towards the second midfielder, the choice of Ceballos over Elneny. I think we all kind of wanted Elneny over Ceballos, but Arteta went with Ceballos.
Yeah, it's the wrong choice there on not going with Elneny. Like I said, for me on Chambers, I think he was one of the best 3 players yesterday. The only ones that were above 5s. Everybody else was average or complete shit. So just we're lacking depth because one of our best players is in Hertha Berlin because he doesn't say I'm sorry, which just to me is shit.
I don't think
because Luiz can go out and get red cards, can concede goals. Xhaka can do the same, tell us to fuck off and everything else that he does, and they never get punished for it because they're good vocal leaders.
Matt here.
Yo.
You there?
Yeah.
You think Guendouzi would have helped us yesterday?
Guendouzi would have looked just as terrible as the rest of the players. Would have been just as much of a disgrace because, as Gary said before, Alonso and Tony has said also before at some point that you only what is around you, you're going to eventually turn into them being around. If you listen, for example, if you're in bad company for too long, you yourself will turn into a bad influence.
Right.
And then it's just a vicious circle. So with rubbish around you, you're going to turn just as rubbish.
and eventually your quality is going to fall off a cliff, and you're going to become like Gabriel, you're going to become the next Mustafi, for example.
Yeah. Well, just think about this. If Tony, if you show up on our next show, and all three and four of us have on Aubameyang's hairstyle, guess what? You're going to be associated with that crap, right? Regardless of how good you think you are or how good you are. Just think about it. That's what you're dealing with our team. Yesterday, you had a lot of, like I said, a lot of crap around a couple of good players, or and everybody smelt. So it didn't really matter. It just was, it is what it is, right?
As Stan said, Aubameyang went off international duty. I thought he would get kick-started by a goal and assist for Gabon. Came back to Arsenal. We pay his wages, and we paid a price. We paid a hefty price, Alonso, for the international break. Emile Smith-Rowe getting injured. Saka also not good to go. Probably rightly saved for Thursday night. And then we have, the biggest ability Granit Xhaka basically has is his availability most of the times out as well through illness. And here we have David Luiz, who's injured, and he's getting the lesson. He's either getting or has had the less invasive procedure on his knee, and he could be back in 4 or 5 weeks. But Alonso, we basically suffered through the international break, right?
Yeah, and so this is what every Arsenal fan has always feared, is that someone get hurt or someone gets sick or someone just sent back to Arsenal hurt, and it's kind of getting old. It's where there are countries so that it's important for them to have one on the team, despite the fact that it's a friendly or what have you, and it's kind of disappointing and discouraging because these young players, they make a difference. They make a difference for us. So it is what it is, and unfortunately we don't have the depth or the talent to replace them. So it's a worry for us. So we only hope that they come back on Thursday to help us out. Because they've been important to us ever since they've had regular game time, and so yeah.
Taib said Arteta should resign. Listen, I've been one of Arteta's most ardent supporters. The table doesn't lie after 30 games. We are 9th place. Actually, we're probably 10th now because of Aston Villa. Table doesn't lie. We're an average side. We do not scare teams. We do not scare rival fans. We get bantered by rival fans because we're so inconsistent. We don't beat organized teams who process well. West Ham fans actually are probably raging right now because they dropped 2 points against us in their bid for a top 4. Arteta does need to be angry. These players will get him sacked if he's not careful. And if we go into next season with players who are with weak mentality and poor quality at the top level by next season, he will be sacked. I wrote all of that down, so as you can see, I'm reading from this script, but it's all true. Arteta could be sacked by these players if he doesn't play a part in making them better, and if we don't, as a club, go out and get better in the summertime. Cheddar said Arsenal need a manager who can implement the playing style. Brendan Rodgers is the one to go for. And, we're talking about managers. Before Arteta came, I wanted Rafa Benitez. So, that was my thinking. A proper manager who could get us in shape. I'm still on board with Arteta. I'm going to leave it to the end of the season. For me, he gets judged by the end of the year. He gets judged November, December. I've said that before. I'll remain consistent with it. The club is not going to change, Gary. They're not going to change directions. So we don't have to like it, but that's kind of, it is what it is again, right?
They like the direction we're going, which is down, and then down again. Right.
Yeah, I mean
as much, there has to be a change, though. You can't tell me we can just stay pat and it will be fine, which meaning that all we're going to do is bring in some new players and that's going to fix the problems we have. That is the least things that we're going to do is bring in new players. That has to be done regardless of who comes in. So it has to be somebody else coming in, be it a manager, be it a director of football, be it somebody. It can't be laid at the footsteps of Arteta. He can't do this alone. He doesn't have to help. I don't care who's sitting on the bench next to him, who's sitting up in the stands supposedly helping him. That's not going to work. So you're going to bring in new players, but he still doesn't have everything he needs, right? We're still giving out terrible contracts. We're still bringing in players we shouldn't. Who's the person actually in the ears of Adu and Arteta basically telling them to rethink, just think about this before we make this move, right? I mean, we're talking right now about re-signing Luis. We're talking, it sounds like, Willian is not somebody, they're talking about that, right? Maybe when his knee's right, he'll be back to normal. No, that's one of those signs, right? That's one of the door just opened up, you just push it out, right? All right, we don't need that. It's easy. The signs have been given. Bye. Let's move on. Let's bring in some. We can't deal with players that are iffy injury wise already. We can't do that. Can't afford it. They need to be able to play, right? If they can't play, then they got to go. Especially when you have an out. We don't have to sign them.
So, I think the best way. We've got an hour. We've just talked all Arsenal. We haven't actually talked about the game. I think the best way to do this is to go through each player and highlight what they did in the game. And because we all know what happened, right?
What they didn't do, or what they did.
Yeah, what they didn't do or what they did do.
We go clockwise, player by player, 2 rounds, done. That's the team.
Gary, I don't know any better. We could go through my notes here, but it's very short. And we're just talking
when you said we go through every player, it's like crap, okay, crap, okay, crap.
Yeah.
Ray, can you finally run out of all your boxes of Lucky Charms?
I'm feeling good. I got a new hairstyle. I'm feeling good about.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. You know what? Cut that. Take it off. Cut it off.
As Anthony said, Arteta is an apprentice carpenter expected to build a house and been handed a chisel. This is what half of us are saying here, at least.
Well, see, you know what? He's got it right there. No tools. That means players. Blueprint. That means director of football. Experienced man to guide him. Maybe another person in the football office that actually knows football.
Signed or extended 15 of these players.
Yeah. So half the team is what he wants, right? Oh, he's okay with, right?
Yep. Rodgers shows a lot of ability to get a lot out of the squad. Seems to struggle in big decisive games. I look like Obelix from Asterix to Goal. Big up, Alex. Thanks for joining us. Nothing left for me to back Arteta. If crowds were in the stadium, he would have gone before Christmas. Debatable, but
here we go. Think about this, Ray. Think about this. Say they do let fans back in the stadiums for the end of the season. Yeah, last game of the season.
Yeah.
Last game of the season. How do you think that's going to go? Regardless of how we end up.
Listen, I don't think that those fans will want to end the season sourly.
How do you think it will go? Nobody wants to end it anyway, but it's going to end. It's going to end, and right now, it's not going to end with us in the top 4.
I think people will be happy. 6. I think people will be happy to be back in the stadium.
I don't believe. I don't see that. I don't see that. You are definitely got your pot of gold somewhere close by.
All right. Let's. Maher, what do you think? Fans go back in the stadium for the last game? Are they booing Arteta and the team?
Yeah. They're booing Arteta so much. Arteta's probably going to be depressed after that. And
you're telling me people have been saving up their money for this whole season. All of a sudden, they have a chance to go express themselves. Nah, you know what? I don't want to go in there and express myself.
The only thing we have to look forward to as Arsenal fans is
potentially getting into a final and winning that final. That's the only thing. If anything along this road goes wrong in Europa, I'm telling you guys, there's going to be an absolute meltdown. And
Oh
like,
yeah, I'm waiting for it. Look, I think we have probably a 25-30% chance of winning the whole thing. There's 70% chance we're not going to make it. So that day is going to come. You know, I think.
jeez, that's a very
As
that we're
Pamela
not
said
gonna,
here, Elneny is not at all a good player, but he's more press resistant than Ceballos or Xhaka.
how do guys still defend Xhaka? Can somebody please explain to me? Like some people are
here.
saying, oh,
We're not defending him, but he is probably the second best midfielder in the club. It's not a good thing to say.
In the
no,
club or out the club?
I know it's true, Tony.
Squad.
Gary, I know, guys, I know, Ray, it's true. It might be true. But what I'm saying is, I've actually seen people like properly defending him. I'm not saying even up subscribers. I'm talking about actual other Arsenal supporters that have backed Xhaka and are still backing him. Like he's going to be like that answer. We need to keep him by all means. Like
He's
that
not
type of.
good enough. Next player.
No
Okay.
ways.
Here's a good question. Alonso, you're going to bring back one midfielder. Who would you pick?
I bring back Willock. I think
I agree with you. I would bring back Joe Willock as well.
Yeah, so I think he when properly coached, and Arteta has to learn how to trust his younger players because there's something in them, but he doesn't really play them much except for Saka, and Memphis Rowe on a regular basis. So he has to learn how to, change his ways a little bit to where he sees their talent and their strengths and needs them more because not only do they suffer, but we as fans suffer as well because we don't see them. We're not seeing them unless their talent, And there's something in there, I think, with and Willock, and we've seen it before, and it's just kind of discouraging as a fan that he just has been loaned out again, and he's doing well. And Arteta doesn't, in my opinion, take enough notes for him to see that they're worth something more than just being loaned out.
I was delighted to see him get that equalizer against Tottenham, and of course, you picked the Newcastle game as the upset, so you get 12 points today.
It's about time.
Closing the gap to Gary there. You know what I mean? Guendouzi levels above the rest, in my opinion. I'm not sure. I would probably have a shout out for Torreira. Guendouzi's like Arsenal. He's inconsistent. Oba is looking like Gervinho. His hairstyle is now matching it as well. I think that's with me. All right. So what do you think? We should go through the team yesterday. Is that the best way to do it, Gary? I know it's not going to be pretty, right?
Yep, go ahead. Let's start it off.
Let's start
Pick
off.
a good one.
We'll start off with the goalkeeper, Bernd Leno. He still has that tendency to parry balls out into danger areas.
Was that our problem yesterday?
No, it did happen one. I think it did happen once, twice. But how did he perform yesterday?
Not good.
Not good.
He got beat with the ball coming at him again, right between his legs. I mean, I think we're expecting him to make certain plays, and that's one of them. I mean, we've been asking for him to command his back line. He's not doing that. I mean, how many times are they going to split our center backs? They split it so many times yesterday. We were lucky that he did make some plays like he does, but no, he didn't have a good game. I mean, I don't get the point of him kicking the ball long. It's just a waste. We just give it right back to them. What's the point of that? I mean, every time he kicked the ball long, it might as well have just been handed it to them, at the midway line, and then start out playing defense again. It can't be fun.
And as Miss Molina said here, it would be pretty tough for Arteta if fans were allowed in the stadium here. Bloody hell, the Arsenal, lucky no fans are allowed in the stadium. What a disgrace, no passion, no ambition. Sell a whole lot of them. Not even if we get Champions League by winning UEFA, we need a better manager to get us higher in the league and maybe get out of the group in the Champions League.
Mm. I mean, just think. I mean, we had probably the easiest Europa League group. We should have been beating teams by a lot more than we did. I think the most we scored was maybe 4 goals. Against those teams. If we're supposedly Champions League trying to get into that position, those games should never have been that close, right? We have a better squad than that, so
yeah,
it's all relative to where we're supposed to want to be. We're talking about getting Champions League next year, and we can't beat a Mulder and all the other teams we played by more than 3 goals. There's no way. No way. We're not there yet. We're far from where we want to be.
Tierney's made up of silly string like jelly all the time, getting injured.
Yeah.
Big up the panel.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else on Leno? Bernd Leno? Am I here? He seems to be, from what I see, he seems to be getting pretty used to that number 1 spot, and he's not feeling the competition for his place.
There's no competition at all. There's no competition at all. We've said this. We get too comfortable. Our players are just in a comfort zone on another level, on another multiverse, many multiverses away from where we currently are. Because what do I personally rate Leno for yesterday? I'd probably give him a 3 because I felt he probably could have done better with the 2 goals. I think the one he punched directly, he normally punches it directly to another player, or instead of catching a ball, he punches it, something like that. And the one with his legs could have done much better. I'm giving him actually a 3. Very generous.
All right, yeah, let's throw in the ratings there, Gary, for Bernd Leno.
Yeah, 3 sounds good to me. I mean, yeah.
All right, I'll be a little bit more the generous person here. I'll go for a 4 out of 10 for Bernd Leno. Was he at fault personally for any goals? He kind of got close to the header. Ball went through his legs. Not his fault. I'm not really blaming him for anything that happened yesterday. Everything was just a mess in front of him. And Tony?
I think he kind of was responsible for the one that went between his legs. I think he could have reacted faster to that one. But with you, I would give him a 4 also.
Alonso?
I give him a 3, I guess.
Okay, let's go to the right back. Callum Chambers. We'll start off with Tony. The defensive Chambers. Let's hear it.
I think he had a 6. Like I said, I think he's one of the best 3 players out there with Odegaard and Partey. Everybody else was 5 or below.
A 6, Gary. What do you think?
Chambers.
Definitely not one of our worst players, right?
No, not one of our worst. I guess I can see. Wow, 6. I don't know. 6 initially sounded really high to me. But like you said, he didn't really. I mean, he's the only one that realized that Jota was coming off Chambers, coming off Holding's shoulder for the header, right? I mean, so he was the only one that actually recognized that, even though the center back should have done that. I'm going to give him a 5. I don't think anybody deserves, there's not that many deserve more than that.
Yeah.
But, I had other players I think were better. So.
Yeah, I think Chambers is a player that's always going to try and give him his best against Mane. I think he did quite well. Mane didn't destroy us. Was he leaving? Did he wave?
Yeah.
Well, you say Mane didn't punish us, but like I said, I just watched the first 30 minutes. I mean, Mane made I think it wasn't good for that side. I mean, think about where a lot of the pressure in the first half of that game was coming from. It's coming off the Chambers side, so they saw the vulnerability that we had in our defense and they attacked it. until Tierney came out of the game, right? But they really saw a weakness there. So between the two of Holding and Chambers, it was just not good.
You're right. In the first half, you see a lot of activity on our right side, and in the second half, it's actually on the same side of the pitch, but it's our left side, which becomes stressed. Kieran Tierney coming out of the game after halftime, and Gabriel under stress with Cedric there beside him. Going to go for a 5 out of 10 for Chambers. Alonso?
Yeah, I mean, Chambers are playing out of position, right? So, but he did his best, despite the Liverpool are a far superior team than us right now. So I give him maybe a 5. He does his best, and Mane is a good player, so he kind of how to score this right. So I give him a 5. I think that we're surrounded by a team that isn't going to help him out, or at least try to stay at that pace. It's frustrating because Timber's a good player. I think he's a good player. He's going to just hurt all the time, and so to finally see him back on the team is pretty good. But we are losing. There's not that much positive to take with that. So I give him a 5.
Yeah, I agree with you. 5 out of 10. And with Chambers, I'm fast becoming to the conclusion now that it's not Bellerin and it's not Chambers for right back. It's Cedric in the limited capacity that he can play for us. On the right side, he's a better player. On the left side, he's not. He seems to be
out of his depth. Games there, but not yesterday.
Out of his depth at left back, really. Pramod, can we please big up our women's team? It's therapeutic to watch some good players giving it all rather than some prima donnas on the pitch. Exactly right. Lee said Gabriel and Ceballos were more than just awful yesterday. Have no fight, no desire. These players do not care. Kieran Tierney, Gary.
I'm going to go with I'm actually going to go with it. I mean, it's going to be a little high for me, but I'm going to go with a 5. He did make some kind of attempts defensive. Like I said, they did not test him as much as they tested the other side of the field. He did make some plays attacking going forward, but not enough. I mean, he wasn't and he didn't influence the game much. So I'm gonna give him a 5, but it's a low 5 if there's such a thing. So yeah.
Yeah, he was occupied a lot with Mo Salah, who kept him busy. Kieran Tierney would go out injured just on halftime as well with a tackle from James Milner, who was in there for his physicality, his experience, and it's an unfortunate tackle. It did look like Tierney was not happy with his injury, and we waiting. Have we got an update on the injury? But we are worried that it could be season ending for him. Hopefully that is not the case. The one good factor, he was able to walk off the field by himself, so that's probably a good sign.
My guess is it was a meniscus like Gabriel's was, and Martinelli's was.
I would give him a 5 out of 10. What do you think, Tony?
I don't know, since he only played a half, he probably would have played shit like everybody else did. In the second half, I'd probably give him a 4.5.
Yeah, and say what you like about Liverpool, but we were not playing really well, but we were not losing at the point when Tierney came off the field, and we would go on to lose 3-0. Assemble said, I've been ridiculed when I said Arteta wasn't good enough before he won the FA Cup, and especially when he re-signed Aubameyang and sold Martinez. I rest my case. Some of those things he assembled, I agree with you on. Some I do not.
What are the some? There's only 3 things there.
All right. Well, we should not have sold Martinez. You know that, right? Martinez was before. I never liked this idea of a small sample size. People talking about a small sample size. You scout players on the basis of the amount of games that Martinez played for us. You scout players through 12 games. You decide if you're going to buy a player on the basis of 12 games. Traditionally, why was that not good enough in this case for Martinez to understand he was a better player playing out from the back? Yes, it's done. It's over. But we can look back, and I don't like Martinez whining in the press, talking about how Arsenal did him badly. Just move on at this point. We all have to, and I should probably move on. Everyone except Tony thought that we should re-sign Aubameyang. Right, Tony? You're the only one. But I did actually think he was Arteta's was good enough to win the FA Cup with us, and we're in a cup competition, so I'm clinging on to that one.
Alonso, the one thing to be said about re-signing Aubameyang, if the F is mainly if you're going to sign him, then you plan to use him, right?
Yeah.
Arsenal didn't sign him because they planned to use him at all. That was never. They couldn't have been, because they've actually built a team that doesn't fit for him anymore. So he doesn't fit in the model, the structure that they have. So whether Arteta, between the time that the season started and the time that Aubameyang signed that contract, realized, you know what, I need to change my structure and my plan for the team, then that's the only thing that makes any sense, is that they changed how they wanted to play. Right? Why would you do that? Well, you don't put all your resources into a player that doesn't fit into your plan. It doesn't make any sense, and that's what we did, essentially. He doesn't fit into our. Think about it. If we sold him, and got some money for him, and was able to put in a player that actually Arteta wants there, we wouldn't be. Maybe we'll still be a really bad team, but at least he has the players that he wants. He doesn't want Aubameyang in there. He's putting him into positions that he doesn't succeed and he doesn't work. I mean, when we have our starting 11 and our front four, he's not part of it. And if he is, he's sitting up top. So it's not even a case of one, we're playing him out of position, especially in the scheme that we have, and two, it doesn't work when he's there anyway. So what's the point? He doesn't. We just spent money on a player we don't plan to use. It's same thing as we didn't let
we rewarded him for what he did last season, Gary. We rewarded him.
Sorry, no. Your hair, like I said, your hair is a little tight, and that's why it's putting a little pressure on your brain.
I agree with you.
You're not speaking right. Yeah. Sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
First, I was going to say that our 2 Premier League games this year, he had 0 shots against Liverpool, which is just ridiculous. And as far as him playing on the left, as a team, we have better stats with him on the left. His goals are barely down compared to when he's played on the middle. His last season at Dortmund, Klopp played him over at the left. I don't think he's a central forward. That's why he doesn't fit in now. You got Martinelli, Saka that can fill in better and do better on the left than he does, so he just doesn't fit in. We overpaid him. Should have let him go, but we didn't.
Mm-hmm. As Melina said here, our last clean sheet was against Manchester United, January 30th. We played the 9 games that I talked about earlier, and we have had no clean sheet in those 9 league games. Throw in the Europa League games as well. It's probably a raft of games that we have not picked up points in. 3 wins and 2 draws from 9 games, 11 points out of 27. We need to really pick up if the league is even a priority amongst the players at this point in time. Alonso, Pramod, what pissed off Pramod was the occasion. We had, the unfortunate circumstance of Claude passing away during the week. Rest in peace, Claude. And of course, Rocky Rocastle celebrating his life as an Arsenal player and a legend. And the team did not rise to the occasion, Alonso.
No, it's kind of embarrassing. Whenever you have a fan like Claude and then a legend like Broadcastle, it just like goose egg. And this is a problem that I have with Arsenal nowadays. Like, there's no fight in the club anymore, and there's no awareness, there's no there's no passion, there's nothing now because they're all getting paid. They all care about that paycheck at the end, in my opinion. And when there's no leadership that we don't see, it's kind of discouraging and discerning. Right?
Disappointing.
Oh yeah, that too.
Discouraging.
Discouraging and
discerning. There you go.
Here you go. Yeah. So I mean, it's like I don't understand. This is the problem too with Arteta, right? And Sam has said this before, also on the chats and previous podcasts, is that Arteta's not a club legend. He's not a club legend. He was barely a captain, right? And we need someone who understands the Arsenal way to tell these players, hey, listen, this is Rocky's, anniversary of him passing away. We should do better than this. It's just against a rival club at Liverpool, and it doesn't make sense to me on why there's no accountability either, and there's no grit anymore. There's no fight anymore, and so it kind of sucks.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into Gary Holding. We talked a little bit about him earlier in the podcast. I'm on record as saying, listen, he's a good squad player. He should play 8 to 10 games and some cup games, but he shouldn't really be in the first 11 if we're going to improve next season.
Yeah, definitely. To the words that you guys were speaking about prior. Not only was it Rocastle and Claude, but also, one of their current players, right? Torreira's mother passed away, all in that same week. And how we started the game, that pretty much soured the note for everybody going into the game. The way we started, no mention of it. I don't know if there's anything broadcasted in the stadium anywhere, any flags or banners or whatever. But
Rocky was,
yeah. But no, usually they would take a second or a minute or whatever to kind of acknowledge it, right?
Honestly, I was waiting for that, and I didn't think it happened. I don't think it happened.
No. So the team doesn't, we're talking about clueless, right? That seems clueless to me. You had three big, especially in this time and age. Claude maybe not have been a big thing if the season was going on, maybe, but I don't think so. I think the AFTV and kind of the presence it has in Arsenal is pretty big, right? It was on TV, mentioned multiple times. I think they even mentioned it in Twitter, and then that's where they left it, right? To start the game off, of course, clueless. Clueless.
Question for you, Gary. There, do you think Arteta stumbled upon the system that we are playing now, and he was planning for a 3-4-3 this season?
That's interesting because remember at the beginning of the season, I was all for going with a 3-4-3 because based on what we had done in the off season, which wasn't much, right? Yeah. And if it was, then he wasn't showing it, with the players that he had, and obviously he does have the players to play the 4 at the back, right? He just never did it. So we're playing behind the 8 ball every time because we're always trying to figure things out so late. We're always a game or two short. In this case, I think if 4-3-4, if the 4 at the back is what he wanted, he should have done that from the get-go. The 3 at the back might have been, for me, the most safest way to go about it because at least he could protect that goal and with the players that he have counter because he had really good players, I believe, to be able to counter with that approach, right? Maybe even save some players from getting injuries and stuff like that, but. Yeah, I always thought he was going to start with a 3-4-3 for the first 10 games, and I think we kind of to some degree may have done that, but then we got into whatever his formation was. But I believe the 4 at the back is what he wanted to do from the get-go. I just don't think he had the confidence in himself to implement it. And once again, they go back
Or
to
the
the
players.
inexperience of a manager who has a set of players. Can he get them to fit into a 4 at the back? He probably always had that. He just didn't have confidence in himself to implement it. Right? He started using it in the Europa League with the youngsters, and we saw how entertaining it was. We've been able to implement it to some degree in the Premier League, but we're just not there yet. It's going to take a while, and it's going to take a lot of players. So yeah, I think he. And you know what? Like I said, I can't believe they would have signed Aubameyang if they realized he can't fit into that structure, the way they wanted it to be played. Right.
That's why Prabhat asked the question about 3-4-3
Yeah.
to be the only reason why we would extend the Aubameyang.
Yeah.
The only reason why you could think about it, right?
Yeah, and then they changed the formation. So then, what does that say about the team as a whole? They're just not structurally sound in their approach. I mean, we're dealing with So
we got to shout out. We got to give Tony some credit. He talked about 3-4-3, probably around.
Yeah. No, but I mean,
it worked. It did work, right, Gary? To a certain extent,
it did work, but it doesn't seem to be like. Once again, it's the manager, that's not what he wanted, right?
No.
He because if that also probably leads us to maybe that's also the reason why we're gonna keep Amesley around, right? We're gonna keep these players around even though teams want them, and then we don't even use them because they don't fit. So once again, you're holding on to players to fit a structure that you don't even want to use, and now you just wasted half of a season with them because you don't play them and they get out of form, and then you loan them out. So yeah, I'm sorry, but we were talking about holding for me. Holding for me. I think we got what is it? The best. I think we had Did we have a 3 out there today? I think I had a 3 out there. I mean, I think holding gets a 3 for me.
Right, he's probably caught underneath the ball for that cross from Trent Alexander-Arnold for the first goal.
Yeah, I mean, he has no clue who's around him, and he has to know who's around him, especially the player that just came on the pitch. The player that, if you've been doing any kind of research and you know how they lay out, Jota was one player that everybody expected to play, and when he didn't start, that was a positive sign in the sense that we don't have to deal with him. He finally comes on the pitch, and all of a sudden we forget who he is, and we let him do whatever he pretty much had free reign. I mean, we were just basically cones on the field. They were just running around us the whole time. It was a practice session again. This is another practice session. Yeah, holding gets a 3, and it's a low 3, 2.5 if that's even possible.
Yeah, I think I would do something similar. 3 for Rob Holding, got caught underneath the ball. The Assemble's asking him, like, can I justify Bellerin, Xhaka, Luiz, not forgetting treatment of Ainsley Maitland, Niles, Saliba, Martinelli, Willock, Nelson, Pepe, all developing attitude problems at the same time, and Willian constantly getting it. I've never have justified Bellerin. I can justify Xhaka just in the fact that he is really our second best midfielder. It's a sad indictment of where we are right now, and I think I'm going to advocate we need needing 2 midfielders in summertime. We definitely need a partner for Partey. David Luiz is probably our best right centre back at this point in time. Yeah, only 2 at this point in time. Yeah. Saliba, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I really, really went to bat for him, but he went to West Brom. Has he really improved? Martinelli, I would like to see more of him. We all would have liked to see more of him. Saliba, I would like to see us use that outlay that we spent on a right centre back and bring Saliba back. Nelson, Pepe, Willock. Willock's on loan. I think he's going to develop. He could be useful next season. Nelson, I like him, but he's just not being played. And of course, Pepe, I think we've had a lot of missteps with Pepe. So, there's a lot in there to digest just in that question. Tony, Rob Holding.
2.5.
2.5. Alonso?
I give him a 3. I think it's a shame because coming into this year, he was playing pretty well. But unfortunately, whenever you have mishaps happening at the week, it kind of gets kind of old. And to me, it's indicative of this game because he there was so much potential there when you first got him right, and from both teams. But he was always hurt, and we never saw his true potential come out. And we saw glimpses of it in the beginning of the season, but I think that Man City game really hurt him a lot, and so it kind of shows that he's not really a center back that's really used in big games, especially against Liverpool and Man City, because you tell him that he's not good enough to play against the weaker teams, but yet Arteta throws him against teams that are going to probably beat us or have good chances to do so. So it's very frustrating as a fan watching our holding play, and more frustrating that Arteta just throws him in there. But then again, he should be able to do this as well because that's his job, right? To get better and to learn from his mistakes. So I give him a 3.
Mm-hmm. Tony, you wanted to come back?
Yeah, last season he was virtually unplayable in the Premier League because he's so bad. He had a few decent games to start off the season. Now he's back to his normal, just not good enough for us. I don't think he's good enough for a squad player. At the very least, he needs to be loaned out. I would say sell him, but since we're so low on homegrown players, probably got to keep him around the club.
Guess who's losing? Guess who's losing?
Yes, United are losing.
The only joy we can get is everybody else's failures.
Yeah,
everybody else loses, and we keep on losing.
But it's United, is it? So Aston Villa have won, United are losing. But it doesn't really have a consequence for us. We're being set adrift in midfield wasteland right now, in mid-table wasteland. Let's get into Gabriel. Start off with Gary and Gabriel.
I actually thought he played better. I know I've heard some of you say that he wasn't that good, but I believe he actually played okay. He did have some bad times like the rest of the team, but I think he actually played. Or is the better of our two center backs at least. I feel. He did make that mistake with Salah, but that's going to happen when you go 1-on-1 with Salah, and he has all that space.
Oh,
I mean,
my take on that, Gary, is he's got to clear everything out right there. He's got to get the ball and clear Salah out as well, and he was just found wanting there.
That's interesting that you say that. We don't do that, right? We don't stop the play right then and there, right? Take the yellow, whatever it is. Let's just squash it, right? Any threat, kill it. At that point, we're down a goal at that point. Take the yellow if you're outside the box, whatever, pull him down, whatever, right? I mean, we saw that early in the game too, right?
Yeah. If he gets that ball and he takes everything out like a defender should, he's not getting. There's not a penalty if you clear that ball out and take everything out. Take Salah, take his legs, take the ball, everything. That's not a penalty, and he's dealt with the situation.
Yep. No. When you were talking there, the one thing that Arsenal's, because we're such a nice team, right? Why we give we like you said, that you're there by yourself. You should kill that play no matter what it takes. They should not get an opportunity to score. He didn't do that, and we got punished for it earlier in the game. Like takes an elbow to the head, goes down, decides to get up, and then and then have the medics on the sidelines help him out. So now we're a man down for about a minute and a half. No, you're down, you're out, you're milking that. They come in, they look at you, they fix you up and whatever when you're in the field. Then we continue on. These are little things that other teams will do to us, and the things get salty. He took an elbow to the head,
bleeding.
Right? He's bleeding out of his head. No, I don't think they wanted to call the foul on on the play, but he did take an elbow to the head. Blood happened, and he walks off the pitch and said, "Now we're down a man." That makes no sense, right? That's what this is. That's the same thing with with earlier in the season, right? Partey trying to walk off a pitch. I mean, what? I mean, we just don't have the team. The team football sense just isn't there,
Arsenal.
right?
Walking
This
off
isn't a
the
team that
pitch
you
and
can
then
play
being
down a
pushed
man.
back on by the manager.
Yeah.
Right. Your score for Gabriel? Did I get it?
I'm gonna give him a 4.5.
Okay, I'll give him a 4. Would have given him a 5. I mean, like I said, if he did clear the danger, take the ball. It's on his it's on his left foot. He could have easily sweep there, take the ball. He missed it. I think he missed it because he was getting tired, because he was under duress. Tierney had gone off at halftime, and Cedric was there, and he was feeling the stress of the situation. The Liverpool press was very, very strong, and he wasn't able to deal with it. The stress that happened, you could see the stress in the team even in the first half. Tony, Gabriel.
In the first half, he was making some great, hard, booming kicks. He heard it on the mics. The ball just going up forward. He was making some great passes. Then Tierney goes off and he went to shit. So I think he was close to a 7 in the first half, probably a 3 in the second half. So I probably give him a 5 or 4.75, somewhere in there.
Nobody gets great scores as we go through midfield and the forwards. I think the scores are going to go downhill. Alonso?
Yeah, Gabriel, right? So,
Yep.
He's been our best, central midfielder or central defender. So, I think that when he's young and he's in a new league, he's going to have his complications, right? And it's just a way of introducing himself to the Premier League. So maybe, this is the first time messing up, right? And not getting the proper clearances or what have you. And Liverpool's a good team when they're healthy. So I give him about 4 or 5, 4.5, maybe.
Yeah. And listen, this is not. There's not a lot we can say about losing 3-0. The only thing we can do is probably go through each player individually and give them our thoughts. I'm going to go to Partey in midfield. I thought he played quite well. He tried his best in the first half, first 20, 25 minutes. Liverpool started to impose their press on us and get on top, and he started to his influence would become less and less. So Partey, I would give probably a 4 out of 10 for Partey. Tony?
Again, he was good in the first half. He's probably around the 6, and he just became totally ineffective. So probably a 5 for him.
And what so often happens with the midfielders, you're so dependent on your partner. His partner for the day was Ceballos, who just was running around like a headless chicken. Alonso, what's your mark for Partey?
Yeah, and I think that this is where, in my opinion, it kind of shows how it's not the greatest of partnerships, but it works with Xhaka and Partey. And when he misses Xhaka, it kind of shows on the pitch. And as I said, it's kind of discouraging because you think that Partey can get better, with a better partnership, right, with someone else or what have you. So it kind of shows you how the disparity between, Ceballos and Xhaka are, and as far as partnerships with Partey. And it kind of shows you how it also disrupts Partey's style of play. So he didn't have that Xhaka, right, with him, so it kind of messes everything up. So I give, Partey maybe a 5 or 6, 5.5.
Yeah. And definitely, I think Gary, as the win against Tottenham showed, if we can put our full 11 out there, our best 11, we've got a chance of winning a lot of games in the Premier League. But you lose 3 or 4 first team players, it's going to be difficult. And I think Partey definitely noticed that yesterday in midfield, not having a midfield partner to help him.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is the partnership, but also everything around him as well. I mean, going forward to Erdegaard, he Gore, it was positive, right? But like you said, eventually they realized that that was a threat and it couldn't happen anymore. So I think they kind of shut that down. You know, we couldn't go back to that well over and over again. So I believe, you know, smart teams will do that. They'll look at your advantages and take them away, and they did. You know, keeping the ball out of Partey, you know, away from Partey, and you know, Ceballos is just destined to make a mistake every time he had the ball. I mean, there was time and time again where he just made a really terrible pass. Either got put under some pressure, like we've seen Partey under pressure, and then lose the ball, complain about it, and you're like, you look at your partner, he does it, and you know, even if he passes the ball back, at least we don't lose possession. But he doesn't do that either, so we just lose it. So that was, you know, that hindered Partey. You know, I kind of give him a 5, maybe 5.5. I feel like it's hard to judge some of our players when, like I said, you've got just bad play going on around them, and that's kind of what you get with Partey, you know, in that game.
Yep. Tony, did you give us a Partey score?
5.
Okay. Ceballos, Tony.
2.
Yeah, I had 2 in my mind as well. 2, absolutely terrible. And the writing's on the wall for him, Alonso. When he came off, he was substituted out for Elneny. Didn't look too happy.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I mean, you know, I listen. You know, Ceballos to me isn't good enough for Arsenal, and he shouldn't be good enough for Real Madrid. And the only game he had a good game in was Burnley last season. And this is a problem, I think, with Arteta. Is like he's okay with re-signing or getting, you know, somebody else alone again. But what is Ceballos' strengths? What are his, you know, what does he do to make us better? You know, and as a fan, this is part of the problem is that we sign players that we're just okay with having on our team or in our club, and you know, it's just mind-boggling how we can continue to sign players that had no business being at the club, you know, and it kind of shows you how even in Europa League how he continues to mess up, you know, and Arteta still continues to play him, you know, and
yeah,
you know,
I think the chances for Ceballos are running out completely. Want to get to the assembled here. I was talking about the injured players, the assembled. Of those, I would have taken David Luiz and Granit Xhaka in yesterday's lineup. The other 2 players were Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe. 2 players were really missed going forward. So those are the 4 players that were out injured yesterday, not available, and would probably make our first 11. Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe. I want to be real clear about this. He assembled Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, David Luiz, and Granit Xhaka. You know, the last 2, they're not preferable, but that's what's the best available in our squad. Gary?
Yeah, so Ceballos, I mean, I can't remember what I gave Holding. Do you remember what I gave him?
3.5.
Yeah, that seems high now because I want to give Ceballos definitely less than that. So I might have to re-up my Holding. But I mean, I think it's fine. No, I guess 2 is good. I mean, I was tempted to go 1.75 with Ceballos. I mean, I think he has
We
he has
get into the
shown.
0.5s, but you're doing
Yeah,
0.75s.
he has shown over the last number of games that it's just not going to work for us right now.
No.
I mean,
You wouldn't pay 22 million, Gary, to keep
I
him?
don't know. No. No, I think for 20, if you spend you add another 8 million to that, I think we can get a decent player for $30 million in the Premier League. That would probably satisfy us, right? So, I mean, if you're talking whatever $25 million for Basuma and stuff, players like that, I think we can replace Ceballos and get something decent if we really have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ceballos. Yeah, it's not working, and I think we even talked about having El Neni play and losing a lot of the positive forward moving plays that we want, but also stabilizing the middle a little bit better. In a game like that yesterday, I think we needed that more.
What we
Yeah.
did not have was control in that game. Ceballos was never going to give us control in midfield. 2?
Yeah, 2 it is for Ceballos. Yeah, I mean,
All right.
I think one of the things we're finding out also is that our depth is now and we're reaching deep now to get players to come on, and that in itself should be a reason for us to decide how we want to play, right? We should be we should be catering to the team that we have to put out on the field, and if that means changing the formation or whatnot, we should do it.
Alonso's frozen there, so let's see if he comes back.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Stan. I mean, with Ceballos under free is not worth it.
No, he's a waste of his space on the squad, and we have some young talent coming through, and hopefully we're going to see some of that integrate next season into the first team. Yeah, let's go to Odegaard. Yeah. Go ahead, Gary.
I'm going to give him a 6. And then, like I said, the similar thing to Partey. I mean, the two worked well together. They didn't get as many combinations with each other to threaten the team. I think they knew. I mean, if you think about it, you've got Erdiger and Partey there trying to make something happen, but then it seemed as if they had 5 to 6 players around us at all times. I mean, and that's partly because of our I think Sam even, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but he always talked about spacing, and our spacing is so bad that we just don't present ourselves to our teammates. So whenever we get the ball, there's no outlet. It always has to go back because there's nobody to attacking forward or getting into the spaces. So we kind of leave ourselves, we punish ourselves.
And what we could see from Odegaard, he tried to press, he tried to harry the Liverpool back four, but eventually Fabinho was named the man in the match because Liverpool did get on top in that area. Again, through no fault of Odegaard's, because Odegaard can only deal with what kind of ball that he's getting as well. Can only deal with it. And
think about this.
It's 2 shots on target, Gary, the whole game. That's what we had.
Yeah, I mean, also think about this. In some of our worst games, you look at the number of passes that a player has made, and Xhaka is always up there in the top. He's always like 60, 70, 80 passes in a game. The most passes we had yesterday wasn't even, we didn't even have 50. Nobody touched 50 yesterday. Right? It's just it's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
And we'll get to talk a little bit about it at the end of the markings here. Alonso, Odegaard.
Yeah, I give him. It's kind of hard whenever you play a team that's really well defended, especially when they're all healthy, and it's kind of hard to unlock an opposing player's talent. I think Odegaard is a good player. I think he's been great for us. But whenever we play against Silva and Fabinho, I think that there's something to say about their defensive playing style. And so I think that it was kind of hard for Odegaard to try to unlock his potential against the Liverpool side, and they're not at the top of the table like they were last year or past few seasons, but they're still a good team. So I give Odegaard a 5 because based on his talent level, but as a player that needs to help his team out a little bit more, there should have been more done with him. Or he should have done more, I guess, to help the team out. But I give him a 5.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I would give him a 5 as well. His influence, he disappeared in the second half because we disappeared in the second half, and it was all one-way traffic. Tierney going off was a big loss to us. We all know that, and with the 4 players that we couldn't start in the first 11, we're already behind the 8 ball. So, Tony, Odegaard.
It's kind of hard for me to rate him because he's so ineffective, even though he's trying hard.
Yep.
To me, the first half he's probably a 6.5, and second half he just wasn't there at all. I want to give him a 5, but I don't think he really deserves it because he didn't have any impact. So I go with a 4.5.
All right, 4.5. Let's just throw a few numbers real quickly at the last 3 players. Pepe, I think he gets a 3.5. He was snuffed out of the game. He tried, but he's one of those players that when we're playing the best, playing well, you don't see him for large parts of the game. He's only effective in certain areas. And Pepe was a player who was always going to probably, if we didn't have control of midfield. And I said, let's give it quick, and here I am talking. So 3.5. Tony?
Probably a 3.
Gary?
2.
2. Alonso?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. Huh?
2? 2 full stop or 2 with a comment?
I was gonna say 2. I mean, he needs a lot of help around him, obviously, based on what we saw. I mean,
And another leg.
I mean, he kind of plays to the players around him. You give him, terrible players around him. He just kind of, shrinks down to their level, and that's what we got.
Mm-hmm. Stefan said, I think the panel should say something about Claude. Rest in peace. Of course, rest in peace. Condolences to his family. We did have an extensive chat about Claude on yesterday's pre-game show.
Yep.
So check that out, Stefan, as well. But, a terrible loss to the YouTube world, the Arsenal YouTube world, and, a big personality. Like we said yesterday, he was like one of us, one of the Gooner family. We all want the same thing for Arsenal. We've seen it today between Sam and I think Connor. We all want the same thing for Arsenal, but we feel slightly differently about the direction we're going in. Claude was, like all of us, a true supporter because he verbalized how he felt about the club, whether it was right in other people's eyes. It was his truth, and we all speak our truth when it comes to Arsenal, and we all love the club, and we know Claude loved the club, and his family, condolences to his family and all the people who knew him. So Stefan, definitely check out our pre-game podcast yesterday. It was the first 15 minutes at least of the podcast, so check that out. And yeah, of course, Stefan, we went into that stuff as well yesterday. He did not deserve the crap he got at the end, and I think we're all talking today about what happened yesterday with Arsenal, and we all feel differently about it. But at the end of the day, we can disagree. But at the end of the podcast, we're all going to agree to disagree and be friends about it. And nobody should take too much crap about how they feel about it. And we even in this podcast, we all feel differently. We all butt heads at times, and we all laugh at each other because we take a certain stand on Arteta, or we're late to meetings like me, Aubameyang. But yeah, well, listen, life is short, right, Alonso? And we should savor each and every day. I think we lose sight of that. We got to remind ourselves each and every day, Alonso, life is short.
Yeah, and I think that what helps, I don't know about you guys, but it helps me with the banter that we give each other. Whether it be mispronunciation of certain players' names.
That's me. Odegaard. I've accepted it. I'm just gonna go with Odegaard. I know it's incorrect.
Well, somehow with a boomerang. So yeah.
What about our Tedder?
Oh, it doesn't quite with that, Tony, but whatever. I mean, teach his own, right, Gary?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's all fun, and I think what helps us get throughout the podcast, I'm sure the chat as well, as we have all had banter, and it helps us get us through, especially during tough times. So I always enjoy it. We help each other, and it makes it special being on here.
I don't know if people in the chats or people who watch this, does it help you listening to us talk about Arsenal? And it's almost like therapy. I know we get something out of it at the end of the day. We've talked about it. Even just verbalizing how we feel about yesterday's game, we feel somehow better about it. Not better, but we can look forward to the next game, right? There's always going to be a next game until the last game happens.
Well, until you don't happen, that's usually there's always another game.
Yeah, there's always another game. Alonso, your score for Nicola Pepe.
He's a very frustrating guy because he came in with a big price tag, right? And we've seen glimpses of what he could do, and glimpses of what he can't do, right? And so we always want him to take that next level and next leap, but he doesn't do that. And maybe it's the team around him, and that needs to get improved, what have you. But in these games, you kind of hope that he would score at least a goal or make something happen that makes you want to feel excitement for him. And today he didn't do that, and so I give him a 3.
Yeah, Tony.
I already gave him a 3.
I did. Gary, you had your say, and I think I had my say as well. Lacazette, I'll go first with Lacazette. I thought he tried. He's the player. He's going to divide opinion because I think, truthfully, we're going to have to move forward. And moving forward means selling Lacazette and starting to get cash for players rather than holding on to them when they're at the wrong end of 30. I think he's playing for his contract right now, but he is actually playing quite well. Tony correctly will tell you he predicted quite well that Lacazette is probably going to finish as our leading goal scorer this season. It's a good prediction, but it's a sad indictment on Aubameyang. I thought Lacazette played quite well, tried, but at the end of the day, he wasn't good enough. Like many of our forwards, I'll give him a 3. And he assembled, as I always try to answer questions. So, you believe the players didn't listen to him again, like the first half against West Ham, or the way they played was designed by Arteta? It's a little bit disturbing when Arteta comes in and goes, "Okay, we're going to play with the handbrakes off." I think we should always play controlled football, and in all ways, probably play with the handbrake off. I just feel Liverpool wanted 3 points. It's a game of desire as much as anything else. It's a game of, if you have the best players on the pitch, Liverpool had the best players and had the desire to match it. That's how they won 3-0. Not much more to say, really. It's just one of those we want to tie the bow off and forget about it and move on. And hopefully we can finish the season stronger. Tony?
kind of same boat with him and Odegaard. He was playing his ass off, doing everything you expect him to do. Didn't get any service at all. I want to give him a 6, but I'll give him a 5 just because no really impact.
Gary,
Who are we on now?
Lacazette.
All right, so we still have
Number
about a minute
9.
left. All right, so Lacazette's our striker, and if you looked at the average position of our striker, he was behind Erdiger, so that's not good. When you're playing behind the person that's supposed to distribute the ball to you, and that's that's not good. I mean, time and time again he was caught back. I mean, he's helping supporting us, but as soon as we get the ball, we have no outlet. He's not up there once again, so it doesn't really help us him coming back. I mean, we've already got nine people behind the ball, and he's deeper than most of them. Most of the ones at the front line. So he didn't really help us out in that sense. Holding player. Did you see much of that? I don't think we did.
No, hold up.
I don't know.
The ball wasn't getting to the middle.
He had.
There's only Gary. There's only one sport where you can, if you're playing behind the ball, you're doing the right thing, and that's rugby.
Yeah, so he's supposed to be ahead of us, and I believe further up the field than he was. He didn't have that many touches in the game. Once again, no, you can't get in. You can't put any influence in the game if he doesn't have that many touches, and if you don't put yourself in position to do that, he didn't. I mean, I think he, along with, I believe, Partey, Erdegaard, and Gabriel were just a symptom of everything around them. Their environment was just bad. So you do that, and you basically get punished. Your best players don't look so good anymore, and that's what we got from that. Is that playing a different way? With maybe a different lineup would probably look a little bit different there. I mean, the way Martinelli came on and played, you would have thought, what, maybe he should have played up top, right, in that game, putting a little bit of pressure when he came on. Lacazette, for me, I'm going to give him a 4. I mean, 3.5. Yeah, yeah.
I know it is a pointless exercise, right? Going through.
Yeah, no, everybody was bad, but it's all relative to how bad they can be. Like 0 would be you scored 5 goals for them, I assume, right? So, but yeah, it was yeah. His presence didn't help us at all, and that's why we expected him. That's why we wanted him on the field, right? For his presence and kind of the influence that he could have on the game. And they took that away from us, and he wasn't able to influence us anyway when he did get the ball.
This is something that I was preparing for more like the end of the season. We're going to do this at the end of the season. This is something that I have been thinking about that we should do. What games do you think Arsenal drew or lost that we should have gotten more from? Yeah, we're going to do this at the end of the season. We're going to see how many points that we truly should have. A
lot of losses.
The bottled points that we lost. You know what I mean? That's what I call it.
I mean, just to put an example out there, West Ham, we probably should have lost both of them. So, I mean, we're lucky, and we drew and we won. So that's 4 points. We weren't,
But me being the optimistic one, I would probably only look at the losses and draws and try to glean.
Well, you got to look at I don't believe so. I don't think about it. The Sheffield United game, they could have won that game.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Tony sat there and watched that. You take away those 5 minutes, that's a game we lose.
Yeah.
And that's a Pepe moment that we'll never relive again. We haven't seen it.
So the assembled, hang tight. We will be doing that. There will be time at the end of the season when the dust settles. Alonso, Lacazette.
Like you said, Ray, that Lacazette always tries his best to do something, right? But unfortunately, it wasn't today. He actually has good games against Liverpool. and he's been known to show up against bigger clubs. And unfortunately, it wasn't today. So I'll give him a 4.
A 4. Okay. Connor said we should have won both Burnley games and the Wolves games. So, I think we'll do it in 2 sections. We will do every league game, and then we will do the ones that we just drew and lost. So those 2 lines, right? Okay. We gotta speak about my performance yesterday. Aubameyang. It is what it is. The captain turns up, and I got on the team sheet. I was on the left wing, and I thought I played pretty well. I'd give myself a 9 out of 10.
You're fired. You're off your own show. I mean,
I'll give myself 2 out of 10. Alonso, I'll go counterclockwise.
So, as a captain, Aubameyang has followed his
Tony.
Arsenal has followed his football club more than once. And
iPad.
as a player that is on big wages, you would expect him to show up, right? But he doesn't.
Oh yeah, every week.
Yeah, right. Especially against bigger clubs that are ahead of them in the table. And this is where he doesn't perform well, and he goes missing most of the time. And as a fan, it's kind of discouraging to see that because it is what it is. He's an Asian player now. The scheme doesn't fit his system. The system doesn't fit him any longer, like Gary had said. He doesn't try harder anymore, and it sucks because I like him a lot. I used to like him, so I give him a 2 because he didn't show up. He's expected to show up during these big games, and he hasn't lately. So I give him a 2.
Yep, Gary.
he gets well.
Go on, do it. You're gonna give him a 1, aren't you?
He gets a 1. He gets a 1.5. I mean, I mean, what did he offer us yesterday?
Nothing.
Nothing. I mean, nothing. I mean, Martinelli in 13 minutes or 14 minutes or whatever he gave us did more in that time than I feel Aubameyang did. I mean, he put.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He put. Yeah. So Martinelli showed energy that you want to get off that left side, right? I mean, Aubameyang, he's one. He should never play on that left. 2, he should definitely, if Lacazette is up top, he shouldn't play there because he's not going to get the space he needs. He doesn't really want to play any defense. He doesn't want to work. He was now we know why. I mean, I always go back to last year. He was working last year, right? Yep. We know why. Making sure he had his money right. Yep. Wants to make sure that he's going to get some money coming back his way if he shows up and works. So he worked really hard last year. This year, doesn't need to.
This is what's infuriating about modern day football players. Lacazette is playing well this season because he's playing for a contract. Why can't they play every game of their life like they're playing for a contract? I mean, this is something we would probably give our wisdom teeth to go out there and play for the Arsenal. Tony, Aubameyang's score. We'll get out of here pretty soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.
What's the first number on his jersey?
1. All right. Now, that's Aubameyang. Now, I want you three to give the score for the Arsenal fan circle, Aubameyang today. How have I performed? Alonso, how did I perform today?
A 6.
Yeah, 6. Let's see if we can get the scores better. Mr. Optimistic, Tony.
5.5.
No, I was trying to push the score up. So
You said as a
Obama, right?
You
Come
said
on,
as
Obama.
Obama Ray, yeah. You said if you're Obama Ray, how did you perform? Well, based on the fact that you were crap, which means you actually did a really good job. So I'm going to give you a 9. I'm going to give you a 9 because you did our Aubameyang perfectly. You were late because of your hair, and your car got stuck in traffic.
He wrapped
you
his
you were
minivan.
smiling more than you should have. It's a bad time. You're sitting there smiling. What's up with that?
Yeah, I know.
The sky's falling, and you're smiling. Right?
It's true. It's true. I mean, I should be really depressed, and I am depressed. I want the best for Arsenal.
But then
We
you look in your
lost.
wallet, and then you go, "Oh, that's right," and then you smile again. It's payday, right? You just got paid you get paid every game, right, or every week.
Gary,
So
Time to wrap another car.
it is what it is, Gary. It is what it is.
You need to put spoilers in the Lamborghini. You know, it is.
Yeah, listen, we're walking a fine line here to be true. We are all true Arsenal fans. We want Arsenal to win, but listen, at the end of the day, you got to bring some fun to it. It is Easter Sunday. I want to wish everybody a happy Easter Sunday out there. Yeah, there's the Easter Bunny, and happy Easter, everyone. Iconoclast, thanks for joining us right at the end here. Something is terribly wrong in Arsenal because it doesn't have to be this way if we use common sense. Listen, I've been the biggest supporter of Arteta on our podcast here. Gets to some points in the season where you just hold up your hands and say you can't support him in what he did. Now, I'm on record. I support him to the end of the season, and we're going to really, really judge him. For me, I'm judging him next season.
Well, if we
Gary,
You're
Gary,
judging. Wait, what did you just say? You're judging who next season?
Arteta.
You didn't see enough already?
The whole enchilada. I've seen things.
You haven't seen enough?
I've seen things. Being ninth in the league.
So the third time's a charm, yeah? Third time's a charm? You're going to see something different in the third year of him being a manager?
I hope so. If we go and get some players.
You hope so. No, we don't. There's no hoping.
In his ears when I was telling him the last 50 games.
You hope so.
To be continued. This discussion
Nope.
to be continued.
What if we lose 3-0 Thursday? Do we sack him?
Yeah, you said there is a you said you put up a you had expectations for this season, right? A number of points.
Mm-hmm.
The chances of us getting to that, chances of us getting there are slim to none right now.
Most we can get.
But you're okay with that?
I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay.
So then why do you need to see more next season?
I believe he needs to be judged when he has better players.
He's got better players than Wenger.
What are you talking about? He's got Saka. He's got Emil Smith-Rowe. He's got Partey. He's got Erdegaard. I mean, what more? How many more players are you talking?
Tierney,
we need a midfielder at least. We need a right centre back. We have one, but we need one in the team, right? We need maybe we need another right back, and we definitely need cover at left back. So, yeah.
So until he gets a complete team, you're not going to be satisfied with what you see on the field.
He needs at least 2 or 3 more players.
So that could be 2 or 3 more windows.
Well, strictly speaking, Gary, he will have had enough time at the end of this summer to be judged.
So do you have a chance to get in the cookie jar and pick out the players? He's picked 15 of them.
Connor said judge at the end of next season. I mean, we're getting close to the end of next season. I would say probably by November, December, if we're not in a decent position. That's it. Need a new team, full stop, Stefan said. Amazing that someone who is clueless can win trophies, isn't it? And that's the thing. He won the FA Cup. You don't win a trophy. Why are you giving Arteta one more season? It's been bad enough already this current season. We don't have any more crap performances, right? We had to do a lot of work, type getting some players out in the last window, and with this, he has Ceballos, Luis Willian amongst his signings. Okay, we'll wrap it up there. We have final thoughts, Alonso, real quick. Let's go around. Final thoughts. Thursday night, big game.
Yeah, Thursday night is a big game for us. I think that Arteta, if he were smart, he'd play Martinelli up front, and just let Aubameyang just sit because he's not doing any good for us right now. So, and hopefully these youngsters will be ready for Thursday. I'm also throwing Saka, maybe Xhaka as well. So, we got to remain positive no matter who we're playing or what kind of team we put out. So something's good got to come out of this, and we'll see what happens. But I'm optimistic about Thursday. I think we can beat them. So yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think we've had like a huge wake up call, and if the team does not respond on Thursday, there's real problems at the club. Stefan was not an easy run to the final. We beat Sheffield United away from home. We beat Manchester City in the semi-final, and we beat Chelsea. That's not easy. Those are some good teams. So, real quick, Gary and Tony, bring it home. Gary, Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. I mean, well, here's my thing. He has to play to the players that he has on the field. All right. This experiment that he showed on Saturday against Liverpool isn't going to work. Right. You just can't plug and play. We don't have the depth for that. You know that. I know that. He doesn't seem to know that. So obviously, whatever he needs to do, if that means going to 3 at the back, because it sounds negative, but if we don't have the depth because we just don't have the players, then we're going to have to do something to make sure we don't get any away goals scored on us. We can't afford to give up 2 away goals. I don't think we can come back from that.
No.
So
we got to be focused, and we got to get some goals in the home leg, right, Gary?
Yeah, no, definitely. That's why worst case scenario is they don't get any.
Yeah.
Even if so that's the worst. That's the worst thing that should happen for us. Is that which means that there's a lot of good things that we need to be able to do to get something out of this game.
I believe we have enough. We should have enough for them, though, Gary. Right?
We should be able to defend them well. I believe that if we set up a defensive structure to do that, if Marie and Gabrielle play, I'll feel better about it, regardless of whether they're left-footed or right-footed.
Yeah, that's something
Cedric
I agree on.
out there.
We have to put our best defenders out there, whether they're left-footed or right-footed. Put our two.
Yeah, we might see Bellerin play, but I don't know if we might have to play Bellerin. But if Chambers can have a good game, that might be better if he's playing alongside Marie, right?
Bellerin has not played in the last 5 Premier League games.
Yeah, so maybe he's not. Yeah, he's probably not going to play. I just put that out there, I guess. But I mean, Partey and Erdegaard, that kind of combination needs to work better. Like I said, Martinelli up top, I'd like to see that. Yeah. I mean, just think. I mean, we play that game and then we come, and then we're playing Sheffield United away when we get back. We should be able to hopefully rest some for that game, but they will put it to us if we play the way we did this weekend. So,
Stefan, thanks for joining us. Thanks everyone for joining us. Tony, you will get the last word. Tony, yes, Alex Ferguson could have got fired after 5 years. So, is that a lesson there? Tony, you get the last word.
Okay, on Thursday, just pray that we get a witch doctor for Smith Rowe and Saka. Without them two, I don't see us doing very well. Probably be a draw if them two aren't playing. Then just happy Easter, everybody. It was my grandma's favorite holiday. Her birthday would have been Wednesday. Kind of missing her and just kind of difficult to get through all that. And just everybody go enjoy your family and have a good holiday.
Yeah, rest in peace to Tony's gran. It would have been her birthday as well. She would have hit 90 years old. So, Gary, Alonso, thanks
Guess
for
what
joining.
Wednesday is for me? Guess what Wednesday is for me?
Snap. Oh, snap. So, you have the same birthday as Tony's gran.
Yes, I do.
Hey, let's hope we get the ultimate birthday gift is an Arsenal win, right, Gary, on Thursday.
Yes, yeah, we need to get a win. I mean, I'm calling it here. We need a 2-goal win. So
at least
figure out, yeah.
At least. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great Easter Sunday, and Alonso, thanks for joining.
Freddie Mercury left. There's Freddie.
We're out of here. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Come back and see us Thursday
Right,
night. We'll be after we beat Slavia by 5-0. Come on, you Gunners. Up the Arsenal. And Stefan has a message there. Happy birthday, Tony's gran, and happy birthday, Gary. Come on, you Gunners.
Thank you.
We're out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody.